After the game, I go to the equipment manager. Her name was Kathy, and I have pain in my groin. So she says, Carp, go hit the ice bath. So Monday I go hit the ice bath. We don't practice Monday. So I hit the ice bath. Tuesday, Kathy, I'm still in pain. Hit the ice bath. And the ice bath is this big metal thing from floor to ceiling that you stand in and they dump ice inside. You walk out, if I didn't have hair, your hair would grow. It's that cold. Tuesday, Kathy, I'm still in pain. Wednesday, Kathy, my groin's still bothering me. All right. Go to the hospital. One of our doctors are there. So I walk into the hospital. It's like 11 o'clock. All I can think about is practice is at 2. So I got to get done with the hospital. So they bring me into a room and they do a sonogram in my groin area. One person comes in and does a sonogram. She leaves. 10 minutes later, someone else walks in. Another doctor with them does another sonogram. They both leave. 15 minutes later, 3 people come in. A sonogram. Now, I'm this punk college kid who's just an All-American, 275. Like, no one's bigger and better than me. I got a little attitude. 15 minutes go by. I'm like, what's going on here? I don't really analyze this until a few days after. All right, Mr. Carp, go wait in the room. I'm like, well, what's going on? Is there a problem? Mr. Carp, wait in the, and they give me my own room. I'm sitting in the room. This is before cell phones. 15 minutes, I watch the clock. 20 minutes, I watch the clock. Now, I'm so like, what's going on? And in my head, there's nothing wrong, because I'm perfect. I walk down the hallway and I yell to the nurses, hello? Hello? Where's the doctor? Finally, someone comes in, and I couldn't even pick this doctor up if he was in this room, because I really have no recollection. So he comes in there. I'm not nervous, nothing. What's going on? He's like, well, we found a tumor. I'm like, what's a tumor? He's like, well, we found a tumor in your groin area. I said, okay, no big deal. It's like 8 o'clock at night. I've been at the hospital all day. No cell phones, no nothing. All right, I got to get out of here. So it's 8 o'clock. I'm like, what's next? Like, well, we'll tell your team doctor and we'll figure it out. I'm like, a tumor? I'm like, is it cancer? Well, we don't know, Mr. Carp. So now I'm like, I'm this young kid. I leave there, I'm scared. I think it was even like the payphone era, or maybe I had like a cell phone in the car, but it wasn't like today we live. So I call my parents. I'm like, yeah, they found a tumor. And they're like, okay, next thing you know, it's a full whirlwind. And before I could even blink, underneath the knife, getting surgery. They remove the tumor. They scan it. They find out that I have cancer. So I end up having cancer. I had testicular cancer that spread into my stomach. So the whole time I'm like, and my whole mindset through this, once I found out I had it, I was like, this is nothing. Like, maybe I didn't realize how severe it was, but I was like, all right, this is just an annoyance. Not like a cold, but maybe like a broken arm that you have to rehab. Like, I was just annoyed this is going to slow me down, and I was going to miss my last football game, and I wasn't going to get out into the real world to start hustling. So I ended up doing 4 rounds of chemo. And I remember going to the first day of chemo, and I was fighting so hard because my mom wanted to come with me. Jessica, who's my wife today, wanted to come with me. And chemo is like a big deal when you're 19, 20 years old. No one can go with me. I'm going alone. And this is when I was super into health and fitness. I remember going there. I had my prepackaged lunch, like my grilled chicken and my vegetables. And I had my Muscle and Fitness magazine. I walk in, I sit down, and I look good at them. I wear a tank top into the first day of chemo. And the nurses are sweethearts. They're like, I didn't even know what chemo was. Chemo is basically, they put an IV on you. And so I had to do 5 days on for 8 hours because I was 275. And they're like, this kid's young. Let's hit him with a ton of chemo. So I remember they literally hit me in my vein. And I guess I had a panic attack. And I got like really like lightheaded and heat and didn't feel well. And they're like, all right, take a deep breath. And thank God my mother and my wife didn't listen to me and they showed up a little bit like 2 hours after that. And like me, I was like, I'm going to stay with my no carbs, nice and clean. And I couldn't even look at my grilled chicken and my yam that I brought with me. I threw away my Muscle and Fitness magazine. And I just remember, so the way it worked is I had to do a week on. So 5 days on. The first round of chemo, after the 5 days, like, I'm all right, I'm not feeling great. Then I'd have 2 weeks off. So by the end of the 2 weeks, I would start to feel a little bit better. And I remember sitting in the shower and the heat running on me, and I just felt dirty. Like the chemo was poison in your body, and I just wanted it out of me. And then I remember by the end of the 2 weeks, I would start to feel better, and I'd start going to the gym. And then before you know it, I'd get punched with another round. and then it's cumulative. So what ended up happening, by the fourth round of chemo, I was literally walking dead. Like, I couldn't even eat anything. I was so nauseous. And I remember going, I'm like, this has got to be the last round. Like, it's the last round. We're going to see how you're doing. I did the last round of chemo. Everything was fine. And then they advised me, they're like, Brian, we want you to do a surgery because the cancer might have spread to your stomach. But I'm still this young kid who is unstoppable, and my parents and my wife did their research, and we opted not for that surgery, and now it's almost like 15 years later, and I'm totally fine and in remission and never had a problem with that. But my whole time doing this, I didn't have time for this. I was like, maybe I didn't realize how bad it was, but I was like, all right, I'm just gonna walk right through this. I'm gonna get cancer, and I'm just gonna keep moving on. Like, I wasn't gonna let it slow me down, and I really wasn't. I didn't even stop going to college. I went to that whole semester. I missed a few classes. The week that I was doing chemo, I missed 5 days of class, but then I'd catch up the other 2 weeks. So to me, it was more like just a broken leg or like a really bad surgery that I had to walk through. And that was my mindset.